This is Frank. Frank votes for the CDU party out of sympathy. This is Peter. Peter votes for the SPD because of family tradition. This is Linda. Linda votes for the Liberal Party because she likes Christian Lindner. And this is Kate. Kate votes for the Green Party because green is her favorite color. And this is Dave. Dave doesn't go to the polls because it's too stressful for him to deal with the different parties and their programs. These examples show us that the people rarely vote rational in elections. Image, gender, and appearance have a great impact and influence on the people's decisions. So, what's wrong with our democracy? Do we vote correctly? In order to get to the bottom of this question, we conducted the innovative third vote experiment for the third time at the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. Previous researchers have shown that the results are transferable to other elections as well. Let's take a look at the election results of the Bundestagswahl 2017. The following chart shows the results of the different parties. For example, the party CDU-CSU gained 32.9% of all votes. But does this result really represent the voters' will? To give an answer to this question, I compared the attitudes of the parties to 38 current political questions with the public opinion by using the Wahlomat, the German established voting advice application. As we can see, the colored bar, which stands for the opinion of the parliament, deviates from the bar representing the voter's opinion. So we came to the conclusion that the current Bundestag does not represent the voters' will in many positions. To investigate this phenomenon, our experiment accompanies the election of the Students' Parliament of the KIT Karlsruhe. For the implementation of our method, we needed questions that picture the current political agenda. They were also used for the voting advice application of the university, the Stupa-Omat. Therefore, the different parties submitted 10 questions each. Afterwards, they responded to every question that had been submitted before. My improved algorithm chooses the questions in a way so that the differences between the parties are emphasized and cover a wide area of opinions. To conduct the experiment, we developed a questionnaire containing the selected questions. The students, which answered these questionnaires on a voluntary basis, had the choice to agree or disagree with the statements made, or they could opt for an indifferent position. They handed in their questionnaires with their ballot simultaneously. After the election, the questionnaires were evaluated. They formed a database for our further analysis. If we take a look at our data, we can clearly see which part of the voters prefer which opinion. This is shown by the blue bars. The colored bars, on the other hand, show the positions of the different parties according to their opinions. To gain further knowledge based on this information, we had to analyze the positions not only for single questions, but for all the questions together. Therefore, two key indicators play a major role. The popularity score describes what percentage of the voters agree with the party's positions accumulated over all questions. The universality score shows how often the party's opinion represents the majority's opinion. Let's take a look at the results of this year's election. The diagram shows that there is a large difference between the mean index derived by the key indicators popularity and universality and the actual outcome of the elections. This can be interpreted in multiple ways. For instance, the credibility of the parties or the popularity of a single candidate play significant roles. However, if you split up the seats according to these numbers, unfortunately they are almost equally distributed among all the parties. This effect is created by questions where the majority of the people as well as the majority of the parties all decide for one option. To reduce this effect and give a more realistic distribution, I developed a system to compensate this so-called equalization effect by diminishing the popularity and universality numbers by 50 and then multiplying them by 2. This process removes the statistically insignificant part of the results and leads to a more differentiated result, which also has a higher resemblance to the real outcome of the election. So we can see that the traditional voting system is not working perfectly if you compare the voters' will to the results of the vote. It is still an exception that the focus lays on the party's programs rather than making decisions based on habits, publicity or superficial knowledge, which is not rarely a result of remarks taken out of the context. Furthermore, voters tend to the personification of parties and their decision is depending on various sympathy factors. As we could confirm with our experiment, there really is a difference between choice and real will of the voters. So we should consider if and how actions like this can turn our voting system into a better one. It would be conceivable to give the people an immediate voting advice based on a questionnaire at the moment of their vote.